It's a Setons 4 versus 4, the first one of 2024. This game going down a little under 48 hours ago. 1753 is the average rating. There is an 85 point across the board advantage to these guys up top on Team 1. For those that are new here, that means these guys' ratings are slightly higher than their opponents down here on the lower west side. This will be Team 2, operating at a deficit of 21 points per player. Alright, with that, I'd also like to welcome Duke Evil and Cyberlegs. They're becoming support commanders recently here on Tactical Takeover, helping to prop up the channel. Alright, with that, let's start introducing our players. And I think, seeing as we're already taking a look at Team 2, we'll start down here on the beach side. What's this? We've got Doleboy. I think we'll just go with Doleboy. I remember years ago, like, I don't know, 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, probably 20 years ago now, when MP3s first came out, there used to be this DJ Doughboy who used to do these sort of vocal, dancey, trancey compilations, and I used to really like him. So if DJ Doughboy ever slips out, 1,000 apologies, but it's probably gonna win it, let's face it. You know, my abilities at pronouncing names is not always the best. Either way, far too much time spent on this, guys. The 1600 Cybran having gone first land. There'll be somebody say, just get on with it. Somebody else says, no, we like it when he talks bollocks. In the rear with the gear is Pants. He's the 2K rated player, also having gone Cybran, also having gone first land in green. Moving to the north on the cliff position in Burgundy is Printer, 1400 UEF, also having gone first land. Last but not least for his team then, playing the forward slot also as UEF, is Gulmo, a 1900 there UEF, taking the slot that I would like to take in the faction that I would like to take if I was playing in this match. Switching over then to Team 2, we'll continue on the forward slot just to mix things up, is Scrat. He's an 1800, also having gone UEF. So UEF, Civil War on the front line, squeezing in a couple of scouts down both flanks, ensuring nobody's got any cheeky run-bys on the cards. Moving to the north on the beach slot, we have Zum. He's the first Seraphim player of today, a 1600, following the typical meta of a 2-on-2 in the mid. His opponent doing that. Yes, he is. There we can see Doughboy coming up there. Sorry, man, it's stuck, Doughboy. In the rear with the gear then in Ferrari Red is by far the highest rate player in today's game. A 2300 Skiddy Biggie Yatahayo. I think that's what it says. I think we'll go with Skiddy. Either way, he's also UEF, also having gone first land. Take note, the highest rated player has gone UEF. There is summit to it. Last but not least then, in yellow is the lower of the rated players today, Legat Pitt, also having gone UEF. Somebody else is saying, yeah, look at this, the lowest rated player's gone UEF and all, so maybe there was nothing to it at all. Either way, he's gone first and land, should I say, second air in yellow. And of course, the lower rating on this guy is offsetting the higher rating with Skiddy Biggie. And so with that, tell you what, inside 4 minutes, he's already got a factory on his side island. So Legat Pitt certainly played this game before. And don't forget, 1400 is... I don't know what the average is over the entirety of the game. I should know because I did look into the rating system. But of course, the rating that you get to start with, if you are new, you will lose fairly quickly. So to say the rating you start with is the average, I'm not so sure. 1400 certainly will be above average, but by quite how much, I couldn't tell you. And so the 4 commanders, there they are meeting up in the central estate, and for now, all deciding to hoover up on some mass. It's like the only one not planning on doing so, at least initially, is Zum. And for now, Gulmo getting picked on a little bit. We've got Scrat over here taking off a few units. Doesn't look like that was a plan, more of just happenstance while Scrat was on the way for some mass. Gulmo, at least for now, not too bothered about it. The 1900 continuing to hoover up mass, having lost around a third of his hit points. Is of course bolstered by the presence of his teammates. Doughboy, who for now is taking a dislike as well to some. Lots of mixtures. All four commanders in range of each other, and a few units now from Scrat as well. Time for Gulmo to get his units in. He had to back them way off. And here they come. And of course, this many units is enough to tip the balance. If all of these suddenly primary a commander together with teamwork, things could be upset very, very quickly. The only problem is on that cinematic view, you lose the life bars, and if I turn the life bars on and then off, I can't move the camera. It's a strange limitation of the game. Gulmo playing it cautious there, dipping below half health, goes into the sea. The two commanders on the northern team, T1, are certainly the lower of the health. We see over here, Doughboy actually ceases pushing, using his commander more like an engineer to reclaim the mass rather than continuing to push back. That forces Gulmo to break off his push. He certainly can't go alone versus two commanders, not when he himself is in the drink getting a gun upgrade. So around half health. Upgrading in the pond, and yeah, I thought so. His head is sticking out the water, so this is just the same as upgrading on the land, really. Makes no difference. And this is not a good time for Doughboy to be trying to get a factory online. He either needs to keep the pressure on or assist the commander or do something. And here's why. Here's why. Scrat has identified the upgrade, brings all his artillery in, and that forces Gulmo to cancel the upgrade. Look how much health just evaporated off Gulmo there. The 1900 almost bite the dust. That forces Gulmo to send his units forward to try and deal with this artillery. And Doughboy is still working on that factory. He did manage to complete it. I mean, I understand why he wants a factory on. It was just the timing was a little questionable. So was arguably Gulmo's positioning for that upgrade, and was made to pay the price. Almost ejected, but nevertheless lost a bunch of hit points as well as a little bit of pride. Quick look elsewhere, see how the rest of the game is evolving. Printer bags his side island, no surprise there. Both islands going to their respective rock positions. Zum with a few naval units out at the base, actually. It's basically 50-50. Both players having 4 units apiece in the northern pond. Southern pond also very much the same. Both players with 4 or 5 units. Although, actually not quite so much, because Doughboy elected to get a couple of torpedo launchers before producing naval units. Either way, the firepower is the same. He just can't move half of his. I just gotten back from a stay. My girlfriend and I visited this town called Beverley. It's also in northern England, and we stayed in a Premier Inn. And for those that don't know, this is this chain that you, at least this one in Beverley, you can't open the windows. Not that there isn't, or they're just locked shut. No, there is no mechanism. They are like triple, if not quadruple glazed. They're about an inch thick. You can't open the windows, And they say, oh, it doesn't matter. They've got an air conditioning system. Yeah, they do. So you've got this little panel on the wall. You can turn the fan up and down, and you can dial your temperature. Anywhere from 19 to 23 degrees. They don't let you have any warmer or any colder, which is, you know, fine for us, right? The only problem is they turn this thing off at night. At 10 o'clock at night, they turn the machine off. So you tell me you've got two people in this little room and they turn the machine off at night so you can't breathe. Anyway, someone's saying, I thought this was Supreme Commander, not Hotels Reviewed Unlimited. Zoom making a little play there on Printer's side of the map. Printer with more than enough air to deal with it. Yeah, so we couldn't sleep. We couldn't sleep because it was far too hot. There was no air. It was stifling. And the thing is, at 7 o'clock in the morning or whatever it was about 7, they turned the machine back on. So as soon as they turn it on, you can breathe again. It's like, oh, that's better. And then you fall asleep exhausted because you was up all night. Yeah. So we'll be trying to get our money back for that, because they do say if you don't get a good night's sleep at Premier Inn, I think it's that chain, you can get your money back. Anyway, Skiddy Biggie, the first to get a few ASF. These are very fast, by the way. To have 3 ASF outs on the line as well in 11 minutes. That is a fast upgrade. He's also adding a scout on the other side of the map. See there, Pants just with his first, now second ASF. Somebody rushes Tech 3 air that quick. You've always got to be thinking, are they hoping that the other guy's going to be teching for another couple of minutes and by extension getting a strategic bomber out? Usually if that was the case, the strategic bomber would be first, but you never know. Centrally, it looks like the two players have quietened down sub. Action meanwhile over on the northern pond. Zoom applying the pressure. And then Printer, as so many players these days. Oh, I know there's that guy. That channel online, Tactical Summit or other. And he always likes it when somebody goes for a sub versus the frigates. And yeah, Zoom retreats with his tail between his legs thinking, yeah, not really that much I can do about it, except produce a couple of my own. And with it restoring the balance. Actually, Zoom appears to have production capacity, or at least for now, more of it than his opponent. Problem is, his opponent's got a lot of assistance and already has a Tech 2 factory, already has a destroyer there. So Printer with the first Tech 2 unit, which can of course shred submarines, the destroyers. Splice the main brace. As we go over here, Scrat with potentially a drop on the cards, flanked by a bunch of escorting ASF from Skiddy Biggie. Be nice to see Skiddy, and he's read the drop, he moves it in. There are a few ASF here from Pants waiting. And is Pants going to go for it? Yes, he is. Nice pickup considering there are only 3 ASF. A little bit of a lost opportunity there from Skiddy. He could have bagged the 3 ASF. Although there was a much more successful drop to the south. I love that distractionary attack there. 2 drops at the same time on different parts of the islands. And it's certainly done the trick. Legal Pit rolling over Doughboy's T2 mechs there. 3 of them down. Unless he has split these up. Yes, he has. He's split his artillery up, trying to get as many more as he can. All of these are Tech 2 capped off. So Zoom with the standard opening there. Shame that the factory here wasn't able to be picked off as well, because this is going to allow Doughboy to very quickly retake these. But not before losing. There we go, bombs away. Legat on the ball. Look at this, he's moving his artillery, trying to keep him as alive as long as possible away from the bomber. Nice micro. Bags himself the 4th mass point. There goes the 5th. Pants is throwing light assault bots forward to deal with the artillery. And there's mass point 6. That is a drop and a half. 6 Tech 2 mass points, some of which were capped off, and their caps have gone. All for the price of 1 Tech 1 artillery drop. Actually saw the destroyer there firing inland. Cruiser, I beg your pardon, with a kill as well. Trying to defeat this artillery. Just wonder, are they going to get anything else? Oh, it's so heavily damaged. Just one more round will do it. And there goes the round. Is it going to land? Wow. 7 mechs. I never saw that coming. 7 Tech 2 mechs. Oh, an 8th. He took one off Pants as well. 8. That's insane, man. Very well played there, Legat Pitt. Who's also managed to amass a reasonable amount of Navy. And he's at the 50 way mark. So he's standing proud. Halfway. Although Doughboy, having made the move to Tech 2, has also got one of these mermaids. The stealth bolt. Being Cybrant. Pick up over here from Pants. I think it was just a scout. And so, yeah, as we get to 16 minutes, things quietening down a minute after that drop. Let's have a little look at the ecos overall. Tick for tick at this moment in time. Look at the difference now between the two teams. Team 1, 60 mass per tick ahead. So every second, for those that are new. Assuming the game works right and boy racers don't go driving up and down my road. Every second, these guys up here get 60 extra mass. And that would have been pretty much even had that drop not have taken place. If you look at the totals. Yeah, much closer. Look at that. As you'd expect, in fact, Team 2 slightly ahead. And so overall, the team down here are ahead. And thanks to the drop there from Legat Pitt, that may switch over. So we see 5,000 mass ahead over the course of the game. It's still 5,000. First little navy engaged down here. Legat Pitt feeling confident, who does have a couple of destroyers in there, but he's going to want to get those towards the front, not allow his opponent to get too many free shots off. But don't forget, Doughboy with the counter intel bolt makes it much harder for Legat Pitt to shoot unless he has air over the top. But of course, that air is going to be shot down thanks to the cruiser there. So it's going to need continuous scouting now from Legat Pitt. Let's have a little look what the teams can see while we're waiting for the next bit. I did review the first 22 minutes of this game, and at that point it was shaping up to look pretty good. I didn't review any more because, of course, I like to be as entertained as you guys are when it comes to these games. I did actually try casting a couple of games over the last, I'm going to say, week or 10 days that were then no-goes. Scrat looks like a no-go there as well. He's flying his commander around, flew out into the northern pond, then decides no, and flies now into the south. I don't know, man. I wouldn't necessarily fly myself over the top of that stealthed up navy. That shows you just how effective that navy is, and why, if you are flying your commander around navy for good, ponds where you know there is navy, for goodness sake, just lead it with a solitary scout plane. Especially if you're against Cybrant, who have stealthed up for days. And so Scrat changes his mind a second time. Flies again into the northern pond. He's gotten picked up by Printer. You can see there are lots of scouts pursuing the commander. Pants actually sending his ASF. Was no doubt expecting a drop. And Scrat, who does drop, he's a Tech 2. He's got the gun, but he's got the attack missile launcher on as well. Maxim Center Tech 2 capped off and has 3,000 see how that goes. This is another Tech 2. Oh, what a target going on Tech 3. He bags that one. He's now got 4,500. Out comes another missile. That was a really nice target. I mean, Tech 2 are always good, but when they're halfway to Tech 3, even better. At the same time, Legat Pit's making a push against the center. Doughboy's trying to sandwich that Navy in, making really good use of the stealthy. You can just see all the fire is pretty much one way, unless Legat gets close enough to get visual. There's another mass point down. There's another one. Thanks to the mobile missile launcher, or the backpack, should we say, on the back of Scrat there. This was one of my favorite tactics as UEF, the missile launcher, especially at Tech 3, where the commander can build the missiles so quickly, as long as you've got the eco to fund it. As you can see there, just machine gunning the enemy's mass. But look at this, Navy moving in now from Printer. I think it's time for Scrat to move out. He agrees, and he runs. That's actually pretty close there. Printer had moved a little more this way. I realised there's a Navy there, but that was close. And again, there's no reward without a little bit of risk up front. And so, yeah, that's as far as I saw it. And I thought, yeah, you know, Scrat there, ballsy play, going, you know, I mean, he was right there just a couple of minutes ago. Printer would have had him for sure, unless some was willing to go in. It's unclear quite if he had the numbers or not. Certainly the Tech 1 subs here will have easily been dealt with the 3 or 4 destroyers that some has waiting. Quick look at the overall situation there. Potentially a drop on the cards from Printer this time. Very precise set of waypoints there. The old ferry command. Don't know why, it's one of those things that seems so easy when you just think, oh, you just press the F key and then, you know, click where you want it to go and load your units in. But to actually do it in the heat of the moment. Oh! Ho, ho. The flak there annihilating all the units aboard the transport before the transport itself succumbs as well. That was a Tech 2 transport. Very nice. Some had thought of that one. And Skiddy Biggie didn't even flinch. Some say, yeah, because he didn't see it. I'm not so sure. 2300, he probably saw it. Lots of coverage down there. There's point defense here as well. In fact, Zum investing very heavily on securing this area. This guy has been dropped before. You know he has. And he doesn't want it happening again. Look at it. Flax. We've got Tech 1 point defense, radar, Tech 2 point defense, TAC missile defense. And he's now, we've got the Tech 2 flak as well, radar. And he's now capping off the caps with mass fabs. Getting as much mass as possible for his investment. Meanwhile, down south, the two teams there clashing, and this, the UEF Bulwark Shield offsetting the advantage that the Stealth Bolt gives to the Cybrans. And here we see Legat Pit. Now this is more like it, just a continuous production of spy planes, and they're ever so slightly zigging and zagging forward. Let's have a look what that gives the view. We also see the notification there from Gulmo, the first experimental. And he's UEF. So here we see just enough intel there from the spy planes to provide enough targeting information to keep that Navy from having effective use of its stealth boat. Ideally, Doughboy would want to shoot these spy planes down before they get over his Navy. Ideally. Let's check in on Gulmo then. Where is your experimental? By goodness, look at this. He's gotten the quantum gateway. This guy is going for long haul. I mean, this is a template and a half with all these mass fabs. It's always nice when you see these go up. He's got a new launcher over here. That's a missile, a third on the way. But where's the experimental? Here it is. I was expecting a fat boy, but it's not. It's the Atlantis. Now, this could make all the difference for this Navy battle. We've also got a support commander from Gulmo moving across. Just there as preset, but is no doubt going to be looking for wreckage to reclaim. I assume that's why it's here. Could, of course, be going across with his aircraft carrier to build SAM sites. Pants offering some advice there for his team. Let's have a look. Here we go. Are we missing a... There we go. We are indeed missing. Sometimes I've noticed this text. It's... one shield, one battleship, one on repeats. Big wave of torpedo bombers here from Pants going after the battleship there that's providing all this pressure against Printer. Printer, of course, a 1400 as well. Up against a 16 from Zum. And I don't think those torpedo bombers are going to get another run. 5 of them surviving, so about half of them may do. It's a lot of cruisers there. Meanwhile, over here on the southern pond, action heating up a lot now. Come on, Gulmo, you got to get this in the. You got to get this experimental carrier in the mix. Submerge it and move it around with your teammate. Out comes that first nuke. That was from Gulmo. We saw him working on that last time we checked in. By that built awfully quick. And the nuke is north. And this is some really nice team play. If he goes for the naval construction there belonging to Zum, Zum does not have an anti-nuke in the clip. And very clearly Zum is going to win this naval fight. Had that nuke not come, you see he's got numerous Tech 3 battleships on the line. Way more than his opponent does. Yeah, Zum could smell that coming. We saw the commander running out of base. Look how quick he is to get his engineers out of the way and then send them back in. He still has Tech 3 naval yards there. He's just missing the HQ. Look at this. He's already rebuilding it before the nuke smoke has even cleared. This is unbelievable. The factory is already on before... Look at it. Still glowing, for goodness sake. Check these engineers and their dosimeters for radiation. Gulmo, pleased with how his nuke went, gets his Atlantis stuck in that naval fight just as well. Doughboy says thank you. That UEF doing that layered shielding means I can't get around in edgeways. And the Gap Pit says, yeah, I know. Why do you think I built so many shields? They're not just for decoration. In fact, let's go ahead and there we go, so we can get the old life bars on. Also looks like on the minimap we've got a defense sat there from Scrat coming out. It's like all the UEF toys are on display on this one. And the Gap Pit, gotta say, man, despite the concerns I had 5-10 minutes ago, we saw Doughboy pushing him back. Legat Pit is now pushing Doughboy back, and that's despite the assistance of Gulmo. 17 kills and counting for the Atlantis. despite all of that, is having bother. And the Gap Pit very quick to capitalise. Look at this. All these engineers. Somebody else that knows how to make use of the spread move. Look at that. Taking Zum a little longer than I thought to rebuild his mechs. It's because he's going straight for Tech 3. There's his strategic missile defense. Obviously, this here is the priority. You need this up and running, or potentially the other guy can just nuke you again. And it wouldn't be the worst decision in the world if Scrat got himself a strategic missile defense over here as well. Here is this SAT. Used aggressively. May as well go for the mass fabs first. They blow up very quickly and easily. Go on then. There it goes. Why not finish off the fabs, man? It's just a chain reaction waiting. I guess it queued up just going after the mechs, I guess. Legat now with an experimental carrier of his own Atlantis, and battleships, battlecruisers. By these suckers have paid for themselves. 86 kills between the two of them, and a battleship in rear that's just rolled it onto the scene just as well. Golmo now has his 4th experimental carrier, and without this would be over for Doughboy. Look at this, naval yards crumbling. Doughboy also made the switch to Tech 3. But man, are these shields paying for themselves. I realize we're focusing a lot on the southern drink, but this battle here is quite pivotal. So much resources tied into this. And right now we're going to have a rotation. If Doughboy falls here, the map is going to rotate. But if Gomo with his Atlantis is able to prevent Legat Pit from this succeeding, there's going to be so much mass here for Team 2 that it could then rotate the other way. Finally, some of the shields there from Legat Pit having cracked, and we're seeing rounds starting to break through. Destroyer there from Legat Pit going down. Restore the camera. Oh, some people hate the cinematics, and I know, because I used to too when it went on too long, but we need to have a little bit of cinematics. And yeah, this looks like for Legat, it's starting to fall apart. He's left with a huge squad of shield bolts here, but by themselves they're useless. The destroyers out on the outside of the shields. A battleship by its lonesome. A second battleship. The battle cruisers appear to have been taken out. Gomo now with a 5th Atlantis in the area and producing torpedo launchers with his support commander, who is now reclaiming the mass. Yeah, this was the problem. And so, yeah, the pivotal battle. That right there feels very much like a Pearl Harbor attack. Very nice for about 5 minutes, and then it's all downhill from then on, at least from the Japanese point of view. Switching over to the north side. Printer certainly helped stabilize that. Got credit to Golmo. Look at this. He's got a couple of experimental aircraft carriers in the northern pond as well, helping his teammate together with a couple of Cougars. Scrap. Tell you what, very nice use of the SAT. Look at this. Going after the build capacity of Prince's Navy. 67 kills. This here, I've not seen this used before. This is a fantastic use of the SAT. I wonder if that forces Printer to keep the shield bolt over his build capacity. Looks like Scrat actually moving elsewhere. I thought that was a really good idea. Shut the build capacity down of your opponent. sure that would begin to pay off. So many experimental aircraft carriers in this game. It's a unit you don't often see built, and even when you do, it's usually not spammed, if you could call this spam. Destroy battleships here on ground fire versus the... I wonder if this is some kind of a mod, a UI mod, that it automatically fires or ground fires versus subs. I see some players use this technique a lot. There we see it, and it just seems a little bit micro intensive when you've got everything else going on. You can see just how effective it is to broadside the surface where there's a huge sub. Look at the hit points evaporate. And they've sunk it. They've sunk the enemy experimental sub by ground firing. Some people think that's a bit of a glitch or an oversight. I don't think so. If you're submerged and you're very near the surface and you have massive, I don't know, 20-inch shells or whatever they are, hitting that surface just a few feet above you, it's going to cause you bother. And here is this breakout from Team 2 that we were suspecting after that failed attack from Legat, who, credit to Gulmo, would have done it without the assistance there from Gulmo, who's been assisting both sides. Gulmo, of course, who almost went down. We saw him sub 1,000 hit points in the very early stages of the game. Has recovered nicely. This is where Legat has got to be. He's got to be careful how and where he decides to set up a new line. He doesn't want to overextend again. Because, of course, all of that reclaim now having gone to the other side. Just wonder, is there any reclaim left over here? Not really. Legat got it all. The only reclaim that remains is from the mass field that is forming all the time. Legat, who is starting to get numbers together of battleships and is using those quite effectively versus these subs, but he's going to want to keep going against them. He's going to want to keep that fire going. And it looks like he is now doing just that. Heavily damaging these experimental aircraft carriers, but not quite finishing them off. Nice air grid there from Pants. Looks like momentarily the shields blinked off. Back on now. Man, oh man, is this a dicey conflict. Printer looking much stronger than he did 5 or 10 minutes ago when there was all that advice from Pants. Looks like the advice was good. Shield battleship, shield battle cruiser seems to have been the ticket. Support commanders of his own in there trying to reclaim, and of course he who gets the mass first can build the resupply first as well. The supporting units, big torpedo run there from Zum going after the experimental carrier that's gotten 10 kills but 16,000 mass. So they weren't just any old kills. And yeah, you're going to need air over here, Pants. Come on. Get a ping. Support commander going down. There is the response from Pants. Could have really done with a ping there. Of course, if your air player doesn't always see everything all the time. It's always worth handing off a few ASF to your team. Mate, you know, if they can't control everything, just give them 5 or 10 ASF. Scouting run, meanwhile, from Skiddy Biggy over on the south side. And at 38 minutes then, Let's have a little look. 38.5 minutes where we stand economically. Looking very red, white and blue up there. Oh, tell you what, those torpedo bombers have just been devastating. This is terrible. I feel terrible for Printer. He's just lost a whole, he's lost experimental support commanders and I don't know how many ships due to these torpedo bombers. There's more coming out from Zum all the time. I'm not entirely sure what's happening there with Pants, but that's unfortunate because that's caused the front line, if you want to call it that, of this flotilla belonging to Printer to crumble. The ASF there, come on, man. What is this? This is terrible. I think that is going to cause problems. And Pants, I thought, might be assisting there, but actually he's just building yards to reclaim on the mass. Which is... oh, that's questionable, man. Your teammates just lost a load of navy because you couldn't get air there, and then you send engineers over to build factories to reclaim the wreckage that your teammate is relying on to build navy that he lost because of the torpedo bombers. Let me know what you think in chat. Printer's trying to throw a few torpedo bombers of his own, but just 3 or 4 is not going to make all the difference. And Scrat now. This is a massive assist. Look at this. We've got 3 subs. And how many? 7 battleships on the line. There's an 8th, in fact. 8 battleships. That is a massive teammate assist. Versus Gulmo, who's got the 2. And they're all the way back here. Down goes another support commander belonging to Printer, who is well and truly on the back foot. And if Team 2 ain't careful, they're going to lose their rock position. Oh, it looks like he reclaimed it. Did Gulmo? I can't tell if that was destroyed or if he just decided to reclaim it. Looks like he just decided to reclaim it at some point. Which is unfortunate because another nuke right here. May have vastly changed what would happen. But if you minus these 3 experimental subs and these battleships on the belonging to Scrat, these white ones, then this fight would look very different. Gulmo now asking Printer for mass. Meanwhile, down south, the fortunes of Team 2 looking much better. Legat Pit was never really able to re-establish. Love the use of the frigates here from Gulmo, just overwhelming the battleships belonging to Team 1. Even if one very good broadside does connect squarely with a frigate like that and take it out in one shot, so what? Takes it, what, 5-10 seconds to reload, and in that time there's 100 other ships firing. And it looks like Legat may be the first to fall here. And so we do have our standard rotation taking place. It's anti-clockwise today. And it appears that the cliff rock position on both teams is beginning to fall, although Gulmo with a nice torpedo run. Gotta say, man, Gulmo has been my man of the match on this one. And I know some people say, no, it's MVP. It's man of the match for me. Sorry, if you don't like it, log off and bog off. It's man of the match, and Gulmo's got it, supporting his team. And what is this? Doughboy defeated by Skitty Biggie right in the middle of Skitty Biggie's base. Doughboy must have teleported across. I assume it was the old Cybran telemazer. It didn't work. And having a look there, it didn't cause that much damage either. Lots of layered shields. In fact, if we look at the commander there, Skitty Biggie barely noticed it. Couple of thousand hit points, if that, were lost. 2 or 3. Oh, there is one defense sat over here. That's it. Go for the shields, man. Pick off the shields. Oh, there's is that Maverick fire? Hang on, hang on, hang on. Where was that long-range shot coming from? I can't see it. There's so much going on in the game right now. Big air fight. That's Zum! Was it? No, no, no. It was just support commanders belonging to Zum. Belonging to Printer, I beg your pardon. I'm going to have to focus in over here. The defense that, go on, man, go for his shields. And that's exactly what he's gone for. Look at this. Skitty Biggie down to half health. And I'm wondering what's Skitty doing. He needs to get himself under a shield, because if that long-range artillery fires again... Oh, he did finally manage to get himself a Tech 2 shield. Lots of air from Skitty, stood around doing nothing. I suspect his attention was elsewhere. Look at this, Gulmo saturating the coastline from Team 1 with battleships, taking long-range fire. And in the northern ponds, Printer still holding, valiantly still holding. And Printer, if you do ever see this, I will say that I suspect with a little more timely air support, you may have, you know, your front line may have been, I'm not saying you would have won, but you'd have had another few minutes, I'm sure, on your side, having lost 3 or 4 very high valuable units at a critical time due to air, at least. Although Gulmo looks like he is going big time to assist now. Look at this. Yeah. Scrap. I am sure there is some sort of mod here. I mean, he could be microing, but it's a lot of micro to go after these subs all the time while you're moving and doing everything else as well, because of course as soon as the sub moves, the micro is no good. And as I say, I'm sure I've seen other players do it, and I'm sure someone's going to say, yeah, there's a UI mod, it's called Auto Sub Ground Fire mod or something. Yeah, wouldn't surprise me. Gulmo, meanwhile, having made landfall over here. Legat Pit is at risk. He's dancing, and he's got to dance. Look at the footwork there. That right there, pause, has got to be, excuse me for this, guys. That right there is the screenshot. Right, let's unpause and continue. That dancing. I love it. Legat Pit, dance, 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 and looks like he's gonna... Oh, it's so close. He's almost inside his shield. He's 2,000 hit points. Back to normal speed. He gets inside. Oh, he gets in the shield and it collapses. He's 1,200 hit points. Oh my goodness, is that close? 1,300, but there's another volley coming in. Oh, 1,000. My goodness. He's just made it, but of course these subs can walk over here and then just get in the water and use their torpedoes and pick him off. Legat Pit's entire base has just collapsed, and I'm not sure what's going on with Skitty Biggie. If there's some sort of unnamed desync taken place. I didn't have a desync message, but his air is not involved whatsoever. You may just say, well, that's because there's no ASF. They're not needed. Maybe. Let's hope so. Look at the amount of mass that's being shared across. "47.5 minutes, and let's see where we stand. Team 2, 2,500 mass per tick versus 1.8 thousand. Over the course of the game, Team 2 also have 1.3 million killed versus 1 million, and also have pulled an extra 300,000 mass out the ground. Some finishing targets off with torpedo bombers. They're getting picked up by ASF there from Pants, who again very quick to withdraw limited numbers of ASF. Perhaps he realizes there that the gig is up, and I really thought Gulmo's subs here were going to stand a chance, but you can see here the Navy there from Scrat is just going to annihilate this. There we see the support commander that was responsible for the 5 or 6 subs that Gulmo managed to get out in that northern pond. Down they go. Printer's base is now at risk, but of course offset by the same happening over here. Let's say once Printer did collapse, he collapsed extremely quickly. And again, when you've got so many battleships coming at you, I mean, it's not really a surprise. Battleships, however, from Team 2 now pressing up versus Scrat's main base. If we hear. Was that Billy Nuke? I suspect so. Let's have a look at Printer. Let's see if it's his commander. It is indeed. Printer Tech 3 has the Billy Nuke. Look, I love this patrol here from Pants. I mean, it's very visually pleasing. Skitty Biggity offering the more standard, just leave them on the ground. Scrat's central base is in tatters. It's just a matter of time. There's nothing you can do with this many battleships. Providing they can fire with impunity, there's nothing you can do. I'd like to see Skitty Biggie, I don't know, come up with some torpedo bombers or something. I mean, they're going to have to think of what to do versus all of these destroyers as well. Legat Pit's trying to hold them off with artillery. And Gulmo, who's since dropped on the other side, using support commanders and set up very quickly. And these are Tech 3 factories as well, so he's going to be able to get Titans, Perseus, and goodness knows what else over there, and he doesn't even have to drop. Team 2, meanwhile, has been brought under 2,000, or they were just then, 1.9 to 1.7, so much closer than it was last time we checked. Printer here with a drop. He's gone picked up. Very low health Starlifter, who of course can fire the old Billy. There it is. Now, these are Tech 3 engineers here. That was a good shot. But very, very vulnerable. Of course, he can have this Navy go after him. And we do now have the long-range artillery once more. And it is a Maver now. I don't know if it was before, but it is now. 38. And look at this. Lots of transport ships hovering over the top, providing coverage. We've got a... Hang on. It's Maver Wars. 2 Mavers firing at each other on Maver. That's unbelievable. I don't think I've seen that before. 1-on-1 on the Maver. You can see both players with the same idea. Oh my goodness. Look at the destruction there. Oh, the shield blinks on in the nick of time. Look how quickly here Pants can re-establish this. Wow. Let's go back to full speed. And it looks like there. Printer was picked off by Zum. He was spotted a little while ago. The Maver here for Team 1 for Skitty Biddy, still at full health, who's got the exact same idea with transports hovering over and has lots of assistance on building shields. Wow, the amount of ASF that must have just been killed there. Skitty Biddy's using his ASF. Oh my goodness, how many ASF are dying? Let's have a look how many kills this has got. 3. My goodness, this thing had no kills. Next to no kills when we last looked. This Maver's just shot down 300 ASF. Unbelievable. 178,000 mass, and it's down. Skitty Biddy has destroyed the Maver. What about the rounds that are still in the air? Some support commander that's gone down. In comes another shell. And another. I suspect that's about it. There's one more coming in that was already in the air. There's too many shields there now. I think that's the last round that's going to impact harmlessly. And so Team 1, despite being behind, now have the Maver that Team 2 do not. And not for lack of trying either. Meanwhile, Gulmo pushing valiantly with his Navy. I mean, there are a couple of broadswords here. Gulmo sending flak. Oh, look at the flak. Shred it! That right there is a thing of beauty. This is unbelievable, man.
Strategic launch detected.
Unbelievable. Beautiful. Beautiful. And I say it all the time, gonna say it again. This game, 15, going on 16 years old. We're gonna have to see where that nuke's going. Lots of bombers now being chucked at this. The nuke is out from Team 1. And at 53, going on 54 minutes. Any idea who's gonna win? Well, maybe it's the team that's still got the big gun, despite what the economy says. 600 or so mass per tick favouring the other side. This right here is a super nuke. 2 anti-nukes being fired out there. Pants, he does have at least 4. He's working on another, but he's got to keep these all alive. That's the problem. He's got a Maver on his base. The shield's gone down. And this could be the air player for Team 2. Oh, look how close that impacts.
Strategic launch detected.
Out comes another experimental nuke. Oh, no. Oh, that's surely it. That's surely it.
Launch detected.
Multiple nukes out. This time it's a nuke from Gulmo, right on the front line from his navy, who's made so much progress. The first anti-nuke is shot down. How many are here? There's another 6 in the clip. By that slow health, he's got his navy, whose only interest is the anti-nuke. Skinny Biggie knows it, gets more shields online quickly. The experimental nuke that's going to go into Pants's base. We're going to have to watch this just to confirm it does connect. And in it goes. That's the air player's base. Or main base there. Boom. Beautiful.
Strategic launch detected.
Guys, if you aren't already, you know what to do. Valiant effort here from Gulmo. It's like how look how close. It's less than 10% health. But Skinny Biggie knows what to do. Just assist the shields. There's not enough firepower from Gulmo to break through 4 shields that are all being assisted by so many engineers. Pants's base, they're down. Have we got any orders yet to rebuild? I suspect not. At 56 minutes, Subcob Head is creeping in. They do have a lot of support commanders. Big air fight over here, meanwhile. And Pants, I don't believe this. I think he may have won air here, despite not having a base. I think Team 2 have won air.
Strategic launch
And it's just machine gun fire of nukes out from Gulmo. Continues to fire in. Who was able somehow by hook or crook to pick off that anti-nuke. That's shot down. There are 2 anti-nuke silos here, but they're both without a missile now. There are more here. They're without. Oh, it's a nuke going in the other way. It's a super nuke versus Gulmo's navy. That right there was such an important nuke. That nuke from Zum versus the battleships that were nuking his team. Oh, Gulmo managed to get him away. Oh, this is so close. 57 minutes, man. Come on. There's so many anti-nuke silos, but there's no missiles. There are no missiles.
Strategic launch detected.
Out goes another nuke. Once again, it's from Zum. His experimental nuke with 182 kills. It's probably not that impressive. What is 177,000 mass? Oh, the nuke subs are moving back in. Does any of them have one in the clip to fire? No. Experimental nuke fired into this base. These are all Tech 3 from... oh, that's a painful one. What have we here? Oh, they're just transports. Nothing aboard them, though. Any orders over here? No. Subcom Head reigns supreme. The Maver since retrained onto Gulmo's main base. Who is also using support commanders over here to try and repel Scrat's encroachment onto their side. The GGs go out.
Launch detected.
But not from the players who are left, the 2 remaining, who, look at the eco, are still ahead, 1,700 to 1,600. That's unbelievable that Team 2 are ahead when you've got all this red, white and blue up there. In comes another experimental nuke. That's gotta hurt, man. Boom. I mean, there's been so many times where one player and their weapon has kept the team in the game on this one. Gulmo calls it GG. He lobs in the towel, and I don't blame him. Gulmo, very well deserved man of the match. It's a shame that you were able to win it, and with it, the end of the game. Wow. Ladies and gentlemen, what do you think to that? A fantastic game to kick 2024 off here on Tactical Takeover. Thank you very much to all the names you see scrolling on your screen, the support commanders here on the channel. If you haven't yet, why not join them? And until next time, from me, deep inside the UK, wherever in the world you may be, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night. Until next time, take care. Bye-bye. See ya.